the barn. The creature hurried through the night, as the rain fell all around. Its claws were talons, fresh from the kill. It licked its lips, revealing its sharp rows of teeth, the teeth of a hunter. Now it was seeking shelter from the deluge of water. Its large eyes scoured the surrounding landscape for any sign of a place to hide, and it found one. A large barn in the distance. The creature turned, its eyes ablaze, and rushed for it. Carrie huddled alone in the barn, trying to keep herself dry and warm as the rain pelted down outside. She peered up at the holey roof, where large droplets of water fell in, landing very close to her. She was alone, miles from home, and she felt stupid. Why had she bothered sneaking out with Len like she had? Her friends had warned her that he was no good, only after one thing. When she had refused to give him what he wanted, he had chucked her out of the car, in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by nothing but dark empty fields. Seeing the barn in the distance, she had rushed headlong towards it in the hope of shelter from the weather. When she got there she found it to be all run down, full of damp hay and smelled awful. She had to make the most of it and hope that it would stop raining soon so she could make a run for it and find someone who could get her home safely. Not that she wanted to be lectured by her dad. In fact, she hated the idea, but there was very little choice. A large drop that had been forming way above her head finally became so heavy that it came right down on her. It made her jump. Oh, how she wished she could be at home in bed, listening to the rain from somewhere cozy. She closed her eyes and tried to imagine she was elsewhere, but her thoughts were broken by a loud thudding sound coming from somewhere nearby. Carrie looked up and peered around her, but she could see nothing. It was far too dark. She could still hear the noise. It sounded very close to her. What could that be? Climbing to her feet, she made her way towards it, her heart beginning to pound. She knew it was silly. There were no dangerous animals in a place like this. Then she remembered the news report she had seen just before leaving, about a large predator that had escaped from the local zoo. She was almost on top of the sound when something jumped out at her, making her scream. A fat wood pigeon flew up and landed on the rafters far above her head and began to call. Carrie put her hand on her chest and felt her heart beating as if out of control. "You stupid bird!" she hissed. "I'll get you back for that." She then jumped up at the bird, which panicked and flew away. "That'll teach you never to scare me again." She was about to go back and sit down, when she saw something, just a flash, through one of the large gaps. She stood very still, statue-like. "What was that?" she whispered under her breath. It had most likely been nothing, just something blowing about in the wind outside. Dare she go out and look? If she did she'd only get soaked again. Not that it would make that much difference, she was already wet through. Making up her mind, she chose to take a quick peek, for peace of mind. Carrie made her way towards the large wooden doors, which seemed to be alive with movement as the wind tried to blow them open. If the wind got any stronger, it looked like it would tear the barn from its roots and carry it away with Carrie along for the ride. The door was heavy, and she had to use all her strength to get it open. Once she was outside, she was almost swept off her feet by the howling wind. It tossed her dark red hair all over her face. Large droplets of rain blew into her eyes, making her squint. The predator was getting closer and closer to the barn, its eyes open and gleaming, its teeth sharp and its tail upright. All around it the wind moaned and the rain slammed down, but it hardly slowed the animal at all. Then it saw Carrie. She had started walking around the barn, looking for the thing she had seen through the gap. Her heart began to pound, the nearer she got. Carrie hoped that whatever she had seen would have gone by without noticing her. Then she saw it. Round the side, a big black plastic bin liner lodged between two of the barn's panels and was thrashing back and forth like a crazed animal. That was too close, she said to herself. She put her hand on her chest and feeling her pounding heart. It was okay, she could relax. Carrie was safe. She turned to go back inside, when for a second the clouds broke and moonlight came through, lighting up the fields. It was then that she saw it. A big black cat coming right towards her. "Hi there," she said, bending over and picking the cat up. "Do you have a name?" She found the cat's name tag. "Well, Stumpy, we'd better get into the barn and wait till morning." The scare had been worth it after all. She went out in search of a beast and she wound up finding a nice furry companion for the night.